The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Generating, enhancing, and exercising influence for the Air America community and making a difference in our country and our world. Welcome to Clout with Richard Green on Air America Radio.
Okay, guys, here's the deal. We are doing something that I don't think has ever been done on Air America before, but it comes from my watching Ed Schultz on Bill O'Reilly's show and going ballistic because, never been a fan of Bill O'Reilly, never been a fan of Fox News Channel, but I think they finally have gone too far. And I have somebody, a surprise, a mystery guest on the line. Let me set it up just for a second. I think Fox News and Bill O'Reilly in specific have committed themselves to do one of the most wonderful, positive, useful, healing things that has ever been committed to by a television personality. And I'd like to create a campaign. The name of the show is Clout. It is Do Something Radio. And so I saw Ed Schultz on with Bill O'Reilly, and I had this visceral reaction of rage and disbelief, and just a call to action alarm went off inside of my body. And so today I called Ed Schultz, and he was kind enough to take the call, and we had actually both been speakers at a conference for the Democratic Party a couple of years ago, and I met him very briefly then. But we really don't stay in touch, and as you know, there sometimes is a rift between the Jones progressive talk hosts and the Air America progressive talk hosts, and I think that rift is BS. I mean, come on. It is us against the world. About 95% of talk radio, as you all know, is spewing out crap, hurting our country, hurting our kids' futures, all of that. I think we need to have a kumbaya moment, and we need to get together. And so I called Ed Schultz, and I said, Ed, I was really extraordinarily moved by that segment on Bill O'Reilly, and I think that we should teach these people something that they clearly don't know, which is accountability, kryptonite to the right wing, kryptonite to Bill O'Reilly, kryptonite to Fox News Channel. So we have on the line a gentleman who has helped transform progressive talk radio. He's been doing radio since 1978. His national show, The Ed Schultz Show, from January 2004. He's in approximately 90-plus stations. It's my great privilege to introduce to the Cloud audience and our Air America audience, Mr. Ed Schultz.
Mr. Green, it's a pleasure to be on with you.
Well, you know what? I think we might be able to join forces and take down these hypocritical, well, there's no word that's appropriate to use. I'm just fed up with them. Set the stage. Set the stage for what happened when you were on Bill O'Reilly's show.
Well, I don't get on Fox too often. In fact, I've only been on Bill O'Reilly's show one other time, and that was a couple of years ago. And so we got a phone call in the office a couple of days ago, and they wanted to know if I would be interested in being in a talk radio roundtable that Bill was going to be doing on election night. And I said, sure. What's the format? What are we going to do? Well, you'll be part of, how these shout fests take place. But then they called back and said, well, it's going to be a one-on-one. I said, okay. So he was going to interview a series of talk show hosts on election night earlier this week. And so I was second in line, and it was very cordial to start out with, and I think it was pretty cordial throughout the interview, although I was somewhat taken by his remarks about Air America, and he has his feelings about Air America. I wasn't going to be able to change that in 30 seconds. So
what did he say about Air America? I didn't see that part.
Oh, that it's a hate network, that They did no ratings, no listeners. It was the standard routine progressive talk isn't having an impact type of quick pitch to his audience, which he does quite often, I understand. But he asked me, it was basically the premise of the interview was, are there any candidates that you like or don't like? And, of course, I did a spiel on Rudy Giuliani, but I was cut off. But anyway, and he said, do you criticize Democrats? And I said, well, I'm in a unique position. I haven't endorsed anybody. But I do know Senator Clinton. I do know Senator Obama and John Edwards, and they've been very, very good to me over the years. And so I think the world of all three of them. But I have, from time to time, given an opinion on what I think their campaign is doing or what they're doing. And so he wanted an example. But when I got to Edwards, something set him off, and O'Reilly got on a roll. He's got this thing for John Edwards and two Americas. He just doesn't like that. He doesn't believe that, and so he said, "Well, Ed," and I'm paraphrasing. He said, or I'm trying to remember as good as I can. He says, "We're still looking for those veterans that live under the bridge." And he was in reference to what John Edwards has been talking about, the homeless veterans in America. And I said, well, they're out there, Bill. And, well, yeah, but they're not out there in the number that they say that they're out there. And if you can find one sleeping underneath the bridge, you let me know, and I'll get the Fox camera out there, and we'll take care of them, And I didn't know where he was going at that point, and I said, well, they're out there, and I tried to get a story in about some quick statistics on exactly how many homeless veterans there are in this country, and so it was a rather strange moment, to say the least. And
well, let's hear that moment, and let's play. We're talking to Ed Schultz. He was kind enough to join us here on Air America. He's the host of the hugely popular Ed Schultz Show, and helping to revolutionize progressive talk radio. Here is Ed Schultz on the Bill O'Reilly Show 2 nights ago.
Well, we're still looking for all the veterans sleeping under the bridges, Ed. So if you find anybody, let us know, because that's all the guys said for the last 3 months.
Don't kid yourself.
They may be out there, but there's not many of them out there. Okay, so if you know where one is, Ed,
wait a minute.
If you know where there's a veteran sleeping under a bridge, you call me immediately, and we will make sure that man does not do it. Is not there.
I will do that.
Okay.
That's it.
What is that like for you to hear that?
I was kind of stunned because I didn't know that was going to be the part of the interview or part of the exchange, and I was taken because I mean, he's got to be smarter than that, Richard. I mean,
we keep saying that, though, Ed, and he keeps saying the most stupid things imaginable.
This man is in complete denial, or he's just trying to get a rise out of people, and he did. I got a phone call today on my talk show this afternoon. His name is Keith Sullivan. He was in Golden, Colorado. He called our show from his disposable cell phone.
Oh, God.
And he said that he was listening yesterday, and that he said that he was homeless. He's a Marine. He was served in the military from 82 to 86. He was living out of his car with his dog, and it was really cold last night, and he didn't have anywhere to go. And he continued with his story.
Well, he must be the only one, right, in America.
Yeah.
How amazing that he would have listened to the show.
And he became somewhat emotional and had to really struggle to keep it together. And I told him that I was going to try to help him. And we got his phone number, and because I didn't want to use Keith Sullivan as a pawn, but I asked him, I debriefed him. I said, "Tell me your story." He said, "Well, he lost his wife and son